This episode is brought to you by May Precision Ag, Kiowa, Kansas. Be sure to contact Jerry May for all your Pioneer seed, grid soil sampling, and custom farming needs. Coach Cantrell, welcome back to the podcast. How's everything going?
It's been going good. Glad to be here.
You bet. Big win last week over Chitopa. You put up 70 before halftime.
We did. Yep.
And
Kind of got rolling, took care of business, got out of town.
that's how many hours over there?
3.5.
Wow. I figured it'd be even longer on the bus.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I mean, we left at noon and kind of stopped there. I think we stopped in Coffeeville and then went on over. But yeah, it was. I don't know. It was a long trip, but we kind of wanted to take care of our business if we could and get on the road and come back. And Chitopa actually gave us food to get on the bus. And if I can hurry those boys up, from celebrating in the locker room, get your shower, get on the bus, and let's go. But Dr. Miller drove the bus, and we all got to. I don't know. I fell asleep, and I didn't wake up till about Hazleton, so that was kind of a good thing. I usually don't do that.
So big matchup this week.
Yes.
What I was seeing in some of the rankings, the number 3 versus the number 5 team in 6-man football, probably the game of the week in 6-man football, isn't it? With Ingalls?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would guess it'll probably come out tomorrow, but yeah, it's going to be a big game. They're 5-0, been rolling this season. Actually beat Tescott, who's number 4, a couple weeks ago. We're at their place. I mean, it's going to be a big atmosphere, and I feel like the kids are responding well in practice. We've had 2 really good practice. I just got that feeling. Maybe I'll eat my words, but I just got that feeling from the guys that they've been wanting a game like this, and we're going to be ready to go.
You bet. I was watching some video of them earlier today, and they had a similar opponent with Moscow than us.
Yes,
and both of them are almost pointless watching them to an extent. But I did watch some of the Tescott and Ingalls game and walked away looking at the stats, and you think, if you just looked at them, you think Tescott rolled in this thing.
Yeah,
they outgained them, outconverted them on third downs, but then the key factor was there was 3 turnovers.
Yeah, and that's what I've been telling our team all week, especially on the road. I mean, you can't go out there and turn the ball over. I mean, if we turn the ball over, you're just fighting uphill, any game, but especially on the road against a ranked opponent. You've got to play clean football. And I don't know if you knew this, but Ingalls or Tescott, another thing they had to go against them, they were without their starting quarterback that night.
Did not know that.
Yeah, he did not make the trip because of discipline reasons. And so you could kind of tell that kind of hindered them. They're a good football team, but anytime you have to leave your starting quarterback at home, that's going to affect you bad. So they had that factor, but Ingalls took care of their business and got the job done. I was really surprised. I mean, going in, I thought Tescott would handle them. I think Ingalls beat them 30-25, but every coach I've talked to about them, they're physical. They feel like they're a lot better than they thought they would be on defense. They got some speed on defense, and they run the football very well with the younger Northern kid. His older brother was that big back that we had to face last year, and this kid's a different kid. That kid was about 200 pounds. This Northern's about 160 with probably as much speed, but he's not like going to run over you. So, but they basically have the same line up front. They're big and they're pretty physical up front. So we're not, everybody that knows us personnel, we're not as big. So we got to get off the football, and we got to fill gaps and get in our run support fits and our run fits and play some really good defense. And that's what we've been working on for the last couple of days. So
one of the things I noticed about that running back is he has some moves. He looks tall and lean.
Yes.
The videos that was available for me to look at, he exhibited some spin moves, some cutbacks.
Yeah.
And I want, but that to me I look at the games I've watched you guys play, and I think you guys play very disciplined defensive football and tackle extremely well.
Well, we hope to continue that. That with a back like this, we've been talking about that all week. Is we not only got to keep the edge and keep our run fits on the run side, we have to be responsible for cutback lanes on the backside. And like I said, probably in our first podcast about as far as defense, um, in 6 man, really in any football, but in 6 man especially, if you get two guys stacked on top of each other and give a cutback lane, that can be a touchdown because there's no one else there. So, been working on that a lot. Really liked our defensive session today in practice. I mean, I was a little bit nervous after Monday and Tuesday's practice, and then we looked locked in and really good today defensively, and that makes the coach sleep better a little bit at night, But I'm hoping that we can go out there and take care of business.
So I want to ask you kind of a challenging question, because this would be our second year playing Ingalls. They come in here last year ranked pretty high, supposed to be pretty legit, and you guys put a beat down on them.
Yeah.
So looking at that from their mindset of, is it payback time? How do you get your kids ready knowing that they're going to be geared up to try to pay you back from that embarrassing loss last year?
It was funny you asked that question because we talked about this exact thing today, right at the end of practice. I told the guys, look, they're out there practicing, they're talking all week, what we did to them last year. It was kind of the same scenario. We had one loss. They have no losses. They were ranked higher than us. And we came in with a really nice mindset and I said, really, I feel like you guys got the same mindset. I said, what we got to do as far as we can't really worry about them. We got to play Chieftain football. So as I talk about, they can be all fired up. I've heard, I got to go out to a game out there last year because we had a Burton forfeit. So I got to go watch them against Shineland last year. And I was glad I was out there because I got to see, they have a really cool home game atmosphere. I mean, they play music and I just can't explain, they play music between downs and the announcers going first down, and all that stuff. And so I think our kids are prepared. I call it, it's good enthusiasm on their part. There's nothing wrong with it, but I call it, for us, it's kind of a circus. So if you let the atmosphere, the big game atmosphere and all the other stuff bother you and you're not focused. So we've been talking about that. We got to win the game within the game. Well, we got to focus on our deal, even let it fuel you. Okay. We've been through these kind of things before. I told them I can count on my hand, three other times in the recent past that we went to places that had a big alumni weekend, all this stuff. Went to one place that had jumpy houses in a barbecue going on at the sideline. And South Bar, we were 3-0 in those games. So it not only gets me fired, it gets me fired up, but I think that goes through to the kids, And just like what I always say, I get fired up when we get to play somebody's homecoming, and so it just gives a little extra fuel to fire. I hope I'm right. The kids seem locked in this week. They've been waiting. They've been looking at this and had it circled on the calendar, and more than likely, if the winner of this game takes care of business down the road, the last two games, you're going to win the district. And
that is something I forgot to mention. This is big district game right here. This kind of puts you in a position, to go ahead and run the table.
And it also not only state rankings in the balance, but district championship in the balance. Another thing that is that it could mean hosting, if you take care of business in the playoffs, hosting 2 playoff games or just hosting 1.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, and that's only having 3. We would like to host 2 more after next week.
And that is huge.
It is.
I don't know why, but I got my calculator out last week and went to crunching numbers. If we play every game on our schedule in the regular season, South Barber is going to put in over 1,500 miles.
Yeah, I did that too.
Traveling for football prior to the playoffs.
Yes.
And then the playoffs hit, and you look around and you think, we need the home games because we ain't going to probably play anybody close. Yeah. There is nobody close.
I mean, if we got 2 home games, if we can win this one, get 2 home games, we be a strong likelihood we're going out to Weston for that sub-state game. That, everybody knows where that's at. That's out in Colorado. So, the home games are huge, especially in 6-man. They're always big, but the travel, we're kind of down here. We talked about, next week is the redistricting for the next 2 years. So, our AD, Mr. Sklar, and I will be heading up. I think it's next Tuesday night. Spend the night at Salina and then the meetings in the next morning. And if you look at the map of 6-man, I'll have to send it to you sometime, Justin. If you look at the map of the 6-man schools, we're kind of isolated down here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, whether
we're
we go
no man's land.
Yeah, whether we go east for district, we have to travel. If we go west, we got a couple closer teams now with Ashland and Buckland, but we still got Satanta's now going to be 6-man, Rolla, Moscow. We know about those. We're getting ready to go out to Rolla this year. So, travel that's just something we knew getting into 6-man. That was just going to have to be for us. We're going to be traveling, and but that's okay. I think the kids have handled it well. The school's been nice enough to let us have plenty of time to get to places where we don't have to drive. Anytime we go over 3 hours, we don't really like to just go straight to the point and get off the bus and try to get dressed real fast and try to play football. So we try to give enough time to stop somewhere and stretch our legs a little bit and go on.
So we're about at the halfway point in year 2 in 6-man football. Starting to settle in as a coach, getting a little bit more comfortable. Where are you at with that?
Yeah, I am. I feel a lot. I think we all are. I think we feel a lot more comfortable this year, especially on the defensive side. Trying to figure out how to stop teams seems to be a little bit easier as far as game plan. Doesn't mean we'll always do it, but I feel like the last year, I felt like last year it was just a learning curve the whole time, and then with having last year experience and then the off season to do some study, I feel like we're a lot more comfortable. Offensively, I actually feel a little more comfortable with that, especially with our passing game, and I think our stats have kind of reflect that. We've thrown for over 1,100 yards already this year, and done a real good job. Everybody, from guys blocking to our quarterback to our receivers catching ball. Hopefully, I'm not giving us jinxing us, but like I said 2 weeks ago, we've been also working on a running game. So I'm hoping that we can run the ball some Friday night and kind of do something that we haven't been able to, or we haven't done. I shouldn't say hadn't able to, that we haven't done here in the last few weeks.
So looking at, Ingalls playing Tescott already, do you think that you've got a really good look at what they do from an offensive standpoint? Because they've been tested. They had to play a full game.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of times you're walking into somebody that is not playing full games and can kind of keep things a little closer to the chest.
I do. Now, the interesting thing about that game is that wasn't a scheduled game. Both Ingalls and Tescott had, I think, Chase canceled on Ingalls and Rolla canceled on, or no, Chase canceled on Tescott, Rolla canceled on Ingalls, and they decided Thursday at 10 a.m. that they were going to play, and they're 2 state ranked teams. So it's kind of fair for both of them. They only had a day to get ready for each other. Because I was getting phone calls from the Tescott coach that night or that day. He found out, what can you tell me about Ingalls? You guys played them last year. And I was like, well, but yeah, I mean, as far as I think we got a good look. And Ingalls isn't the Tescott film isn't the only film we got. We kind of do our homework and get as many films as we can. So really, this time of year, we just talked about this too, um, in practice. This time of year, um, yeah, you might get a few wrinkles here and there, but most of the teams have kind of settled in on what they're going to do. You know, we're going to throw a few wrinkles that uh, as far as our spread out stuff that they haven't seen us do. I don't know if they'll be effective. I'm hoping we've been practicing the heck out of them, so, um, but if another team runs a little bit of something, maybe they didn't run what I'll run it with it, but you see something how the defense lineup is. Ooh, I like that. We could do this and start drawing it up, and so that's what we came up with. We came up with some new wrinkles that hopefully sometimes they don't work. I've done that before. It makes you feel real good when you do come up with wrinkles and like every one of them work. You're like, yeah, but sometimes you'll try new stuff and be like, and they don't line up like you thought. And you're like, okay, that part of the playbook's out tonight and that's not going to work. And the coach is like, well, coach, we worked on it well, it's not going to work. They're not lined up like we thought. So, but that happens. It's just making adjustments in the game.
So, looking at the team, I mean, obviously, 6-man football, you've got limited uh, participants
Mm-hmm.
on your team. That's why we're playing 6-man.
Yeah.
So that being said, a lot of kids have to play both ways every single game.
Oh.
Health wise, how's everybody looking?
Pretty good, really. I mean, we're as healthy as that I could ask for right now. I mean, and um, you know, really all year, but especially the last 2 weeks. But we started playing, especially on defense. We've started playing at least, let's go 6, 7, 8. We've been playing 9 guys. We've got 3 guys that have been coming in and playing some good minutes, and um, we still expect them to come in and give us some minutes against a good team. Against this good team. So that's been a blessing. Last year we didn't have very many guys that could give us any minutes, and this year and I think that has to do with age. I'm starting to see a few guys step in, and we talk about stealing minutes, like from a coaching staff, we talk about stealing minutes. So I bring this kid in. Can he give us a good series? Can he give us a good couple of minutes while the starter's over there resting, and getting a breather? And we would, so knock on wood, we've been able to do that, and especially on the defensive side. Kind of hard sometimes on the offensive side because all the timing and everything. If they don't have all the reps of starter does, your timing gets off and things. But defensively, like I said, we've been not full rotation, but we've been able to be playing about 9 guys deep on defense.
One of the things I noticed in the Moscow game, I apologize. We had prior arrangements and couldn't go to the Chautauqua game, but the Moscow game, we made reference to it on the call, was the importance of Braden Duval and Keegan McMurray being options in the passing game.
Oh, yes.
It gives you 4 weapons. Well,
yeah,
actually 5, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Devin Olson too. He caught a big pass.
I forget
too.
about Devin. Yep. And I think that to me, if I'm an opposing coach, I'm going, how do you stop this?
Yeah.
They've got options literally all over the field.
Well, that's what I was really looking for in our spread game or our passing game. That's and I would need that. We need that to continue because, Garen's our top receiver. Steele and Garen are our top 2 receivers. You can take 2 guys away or give it a hard time, but when you get 3 to 4, maybe in a 5th guy, yeah, you're that, and it helps our quarterback because he's not afraid to throw it to some guy. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I was never a quarterback, but I had a son that was quarterback, and sometimes if a quarterback's got to, that's what I tell our receiver, the quarterback's got to trust you guys.
Yep.
I mean, well, I'm open, coach. Well, if you're dropping every single pass in practice, he may not want to throw you the football, and those kind of things. So you have to step up when the ball's thrown to you and make the catch. Oh, and get open. But yeah, that hopefully that continues. That is really big when we can spread the ball around.
And so, looking at six man, when you run your set where you snap to Sklar, he gives the pitch to Swanger.
Mm-hmm.
With those many weapons now, that opens up some tremendous running lanes if needed for Austin, don't it?
Oh yeah, big time.
And you got a kid that can
yeah,
fly.
Yeah, and then that helps. I mean, you got a quarterback that can move, and we just talked about this. Grant and I were talking about that. The improvement I've seen from Austin this year is his not only his accuracy on his ball, but when he scrambles, he's got his eyes downfield, and he kind of knows where the line of scrimmage is. And you've seen several times he'll start scrambling, and our guys behind there will work to an open area. Oh, there he is. And I think we scored some against Moscow like that.
Yep.
And that's hard to cover. We just talked about that today with Ingalls. They have a tendency of I notice when they're covering, they look back and the quarterback scrambles, their feet stop or they come up a little bit. And I told our guys just go to the open area because Austin will find you. So where maybe last year or in the past, he would, oh, I got to run. My head's down and run. He's looking to throw, but then he's realized, okay, I got to run. I need to run. So that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare for us if we face that, so, hopefully keep people healthy and we can continue to do those stuff.
I just thought, he brings some challenges. I mean, because he's got the speed with his feet.
Yeah.
He's got the arm strength. And as we talked on the last show, the accuracy has improved.
Yeah.
And so, man,
and even in practice,
fun to watch.
Even practice. I mean, that was our big thing this year. I talked to him in off season. I said, look, when we're running stuff in practice, we go up against scout team, but if we can't be completing, I always say 85. I like to be 85, 90% in practice. I drive the kids nuts because, even today we hit a couple of incomplete or 3 or 4 in a row, and I was like, start all over again. They're like, oh. Yeah, it's like, yep, start the script all over again. We need to complete, but it's in practice too. And even when we run what we call ROAs, which is routes on air, we'll do a lot of that pre-practice or we'll do it during practice. And I'm like, guys, we need to be like 95%. There's no defense. I don't need to see drop balls or bad throws. And we're still working on that. We're a lot better than we were last year. But I said, you have to be able to do it in practice or you're not going to be able to do it live in a game,
Yep. Been going for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to touch on the Moscow game, homecoming, the reunion of the 05 team. We talked about it leading up to it on the last podcast.
Yeah.
I thought that was how's the best way to put it? That's how I've always remembered South Barber football.
Yeah.
That crowd was, the stands were full. You had a pep band. Hats off to Mr. Rocket, getting some community members engaged.
Mm-hmm.
The band sounded good. You had people lined up down the track. I call it the old whiskey row around the fence with people in cars.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was electric.
Yeah.
And I thought, how important was that for your boys to experience?
They felt it. I even had kids tell me that they felt it. Having those 05 guys around them, and bringing them on the field, that got them extra charge. But I talked to my son. He said, but I could see it in all their faces. They felt that, and they felt the crowd and the big and everything that was going on. I felt it. I felt like, I think I told somebody, I can't remember who I told, but I think the biggest thing of that night, it was just a great feel of community, football game, whatever. I mean, that was great, but like you said, it felt like, we always say the old days, but there's no reason why we can't have that. every Friday night.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'll look at right in the camera. Get out there, South Barbara community. That was awesome. There's no reason why we can't have that every home game. That is fantastic. That is great school spirit. That's great community spirit.
Absolutely.
And it just makes everything better. It just does.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with encouraging our young people of this community.
Heck yeah.
You know, and I just kept thinking that night, I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it was awesome to call the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, just you could hear, you know, we got everything enclosed up there, but you could still hear the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You could still hear the band. And I'm like, this is what high school football's all about.
That's
Not
right.
just South Barbara, but just high school football.
Oh, yeah.
The whole community's there, engaged, fired up.
Yeah, there's no other sport like it. I mean, basketball's great, but there's no other sport about like football on high school Friday nights. It's kind of cool.
And I loved it that there was no let up whatsoever.
No,
because there's got to be challenges when you have a team.
Yeah.
I don't want to bash Moscow, but there wasn't just a tremendous amount of effort on their side of the ball.
I was just going to say they didn't really want to be there.
They're
ready to go home. Yeah.
And sometimes that can drag another team down to their level. And hats off to you and your staff for keeping those kids engaged. Because, I mean, you guys put the hammer down and just I was thinking, was there only one incompletion in that game? And that was actually a questionable touchdown, the first play of the game.
Yeah, one or two. Yeah, that first one, I thought he got his foot in, but it's hard to tell. But and that
was up high, and I thought he had it in.
But it was also after I watched the film, I knew that. I was like, it was kind of my fault it was on our script. It was our first play. But we got the ball on their 20 or 25, and I never took in consideration before I called it. We didn't have a lot of room. And I was like, man, that's a little bit my fault. I should have held that for later because I knew it'd be open. We just ran out of room.
So help me out on this. During that game, every time that they went to punt, they snapped it to somebody else prior to the punter.
Mm-hmm.
Is that normal in 6 months? I thought you could just snap it straight to your punter and
you can. The only reason you would do that, we thought about doing that at one time, but I would have, if I did it, I would protect. I would have your guy roll out, and he could have. It's kind of scary, but he'd either have the option to what do they call that, rugby style, kick it, or run. Pitt is too slow for one. We blocked one.
Yeah,
and Ingalls does that. I've seen Ingalls do that a couple of times. So that's going to be interesting to see if they try that on us after they seen us block one. But I don't like it. It's just one extra thing. But I mean, we snap it straight back to the punter. Not something we like to be very good at, but I mean, you have to be able to do it.
I don't see you punt much. That's why I was sitting there. I scratched my head that night going, why do they keep doing it? That is so slow developing against a team that has speed like South Barbara.
Yeah.
That guy's got to be nervous every time he's back there to try to punt.
Yeah, I will tell you, if you have a dangerous guy back there, you have to be careful going for the punt because remember, everybody's eligible.
That's true.
So if you got a guy back to return it, you got one less defender. So if you go after that punter, you're probably leaving, unless you're playing zone, you're probably leaving a person open if they want to go ahead and throw. So you got to think about that. That's the challenge of 6-man. You go, okay, what do we want to do behind this rusher if I got a guy back? Because now I only got 4 guys. I got a rusher and I got 4 guys to play defense against 5. So it's like, so I see why maybe people do that, but I mean, Moscow they weren't taking advantage of that. But we kind of had a feeling that we could go block it, but we kind of played a little zone behind it, put Garen back, and then sent Steele and said, if they get it off, you have the punter. You're blocking the punter. So that's how we did it.
So I don't want to look too far ahead, but I did see, I believe Chase canceled the rest of their season because of injuries and stuff.
Yeah.
What's the risk looking, we get through the Ingalls game. We know we're playing that, but we got a few more out there. Any risk of us running situations like that against opponents?
We got Pawnee Heights next week at home. That should be fine as far as numbers. And I think they're 3-2 right now. They're in the others as far as rankings. They're not bad. I barely watched them, but we do have a chance that last game against Rolla. They've already canceled one.
Yeah.
Like I said, they canceled on Ingalls. I don't know the situation, but they did play last week against somebody. I can't remember who it was. So I don't know. I think, oh, yeah, I do know. I did watch somebody's film that had them on there. Oh, it's Pawnee Heights already sent me film for next week, but I peeked at it, and Rolla had one guy on the sideline, so they got 7.
Wow.
So we'll see when we get to that week 8 game.
You get to a situation like that, is it a quick scramble like we was talking with Ingalls and Tescott to try to find somebody, or do you give the boys a week off?
You can't. It depends. Well, Ashland's already reached out to us, Ashland Buckland, and they said, "Hey, coach, keep us in mind," because they. He goes, well, he said he did have a couple guys out, so he said, "I think we can give you a better look," But I said, "Well, all that depends on our health, because we're getting ready. At that point, you get ready to go in playoffs." And I said, "Maybe, if we have to do something like that, depends on if we, we probably end up going out there since we were going to be on the road anyways, unless we could sweet talk them to come in here again, but I doubt it. But so really, it depends on your health. If you're banged up a little bit, we're getting ready to go into a war tomorrow night, so hopefully we get out of it healthy. It's going to be a physical game, so it just, like I said, it just depends on health at that time of year. I don't mind having an open date, but the problem is if you take first or second in your district, which we have a strong possibility of doing that, you have a bye that next week too, so you're off 2 weeks. And you're, as a coach, you're like, do I need to do that?
Yeah, that's pretty tricky. You can, I remember in high school, we had some situations like that where I grew up down in Oklahoma, and 2 years in a row, it bit us in the playoffs. It was almost like you forgot how to hit.
Yeah.
There's some beauty in playing week in and week out, especially towards the end.
It's hard to prepare too, because like if you do something like that, that first week, I don't know. I'm trying to think if we've had off weeks, but I don't know if we ever had 2 in a row. I'm trying to think, what would we do that first week? You don't get too crazy, but you just don't want to do nothing, So, I will give Rolla credit. Last year, they came over here with 7, maybe 8 guys. They played it.
Yeah.
They were not wanting to be here, kind of like Moscow, but they played. They came over and played. So, and we're going to their place. That might help too. I can't remember if Rolla was supposed to go to Ingalls or whatever, but if they have a home game, sometimes they'll have more of a tendency to put 6 or 7 guys out there. And that's another long trip for us, but we'll do it.
So looking down the road in the future, I sometimes I get to thinking we've got some schools around here that their numbers are low. What's the chances that we're going to see more 6-man teams? I mean, what's the chances that we see like Norwich transition into a 6-man team, or say Fairfield or somebody like that? Because, I've talked to some people up north. Stafford and Fairfield usually play together in junior high, and then they go separate in high school, but I know their numbers aren't huge. Yeah. What's the chances that we see more teams closer to here go to 6-man?
I think it'll be a big chance. I thought it might happen couple more in our league, because I in my circles with the 6-man coaches now, that was a big talk. When there was talk about Stafford, wouldn't I don't know, where they ended up, and Fairfield. I heard those 2 teams. Central Christian. I heard they kind of talked about it, and as far as in our league, I think Skyline would like that. I've heard that they might think they like to, but I think they've got too many kids. But they moved that number up from 55 to 65, I think it is now. So, and you're watching some bigger schools drop down into 8-man one, which pushes some other schools down to 8-man. There's 40 this next come around. I might be wrong on the number. I think it's 49 8-man two schools next rotation. We're going to have 29 6-man up from whatever we got now, 23.
Yeah.
That McPherson Erie Christian that is good basketball.
Yeah.
They decided that they're starting a football program. They've never had a football program, and they asked Keisha if they could go 6-man. That came in just right the other day, which actually changed. I don't want to get into it on this podcast, but we are sitting right now. All the coaches are trying to guess what district they're going to be in next year. Okay. So you're in a 7-team district. 6 of your games are taken care of. So you have your opening week, you got to find a game. And then a lot of times you got 2 districts and you have a bye week in each one of your districts. You either take a bye or fill that bye in. Well, the easiest way is to find the team that matches up bye week with you. That's how we ended up with Chatopa the last 2 years.
Okay.
But we don't know who's in the other districts. We don't even know what district. We think we're going to go west now. What brought me to say that is that Erie Christians and McPherson. We think they'll push them east. We thought maybe for a long time here that we were going to go east, which is a big. Our closest game would be probably them at McPherson, but it'd be 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
I wasn't really looking. But now we think we're going to go over west with Buckland and Ashland joining, and Satanta is dropping down, Moscow, Rolla, and Ingalls. That's educated guess, but you never know what Case is going to do. The way those works, you go to the meeting, you sit down, you kind of have some pre-alliances with some teams going, hey, if we're not in the same district, let's play week 1, and they flash the districts up on a board, and it's just a madhouse. Then you just go, hey, why don't you? And you just go to different tables and you try to figure your schedule out.
New York Stock Exchange,
kind of
style.
Yeah, and 6A and from 6A clears a 6-man in the same room. Now they it's a big room. They get them separated in different spots. But I got to go last year, first time ever, and or last 2 years ago. It was kind of a cool. That's what we're getting ready to go next Wednesday is to put our schedule down for the next 2 years. But all the coaches try to ski, they get the map out, you try to figure out what's the case you're going to do, where are they going to go, and a lot of these guys are pretty good at it. They get it pretty darn close. So I think we think we're close. We think we're close.
So what's the chances? I know years ago, I mean, we've played like Cherokee, Oklahoma in the past in 8-man, but there's been, I think there was a year or two we played Shattuck, Oklahoma.
Yep.
What's the chances that we venture out like into the Texas Panhandle and play in some of those 6-man teams?
I've talked about that fall. I actually know I've met the Follette coaches. They were one of the coach in the Texas 6-man all-star game. Or Texas played Colorado, one of the teams, and Kansas played the other one. I got to meet all those coaches, but yes and no. The hard thing is I think, I don't know Texas. I knew Oklahoma, it got to where they made their schedules a lot earlier. It's either earlier or later than us, and they were just off. And so we couldn't ever. That's why when an 8-man, we quit playing because it was really hard to schedule. I don't know about Texas yet. That would be kind of cool. That would test us because those guys can play some football down there.
Yeah, and they've been around it for a while.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying it. I think I say that, but that if we cannot find we think we got to find week 1, and we're thinking our bye week might be week 2. So, because there's a formula, too hard to explain now, but so we might be trying to figure out week 1 and 2 when we go to this meeting.
So is Cunningham going up to 8-man, or are they staying 6?
They're going to 6.
So that's the problem of week 1 now.
Yep. So we got some inquiries out there. One of them kind of started sliding their feet a little bit today. I was like, I don't know if they want to play us, but there was another one from over east that kind of said, hey, let's do this. So it's a ways, but it might happen. We don't know yet.
Okay. Well, is there anything else we haven't covered that we need to go over before this weekend's?
No. I
this
mean,
week's game.
yeah, I'm real excited about the game. I feel like the kids are confident. They're not shying away. We don't care if they're 5-0. We don't care if it's at their place. We don't care if they're one of the best running teams in the state. I mean, we're just gonna do what we got to do to win this game. So, uh, I like the way practices have gone. Be honest with you, we've been working on Ingalls for a couple of weeks now. So this week was kind of finish some details and spit and polish. And today, especially defensively, I started finally seeing a little bit of the polished product. I say all this now, hoping we don't go out there and lay an egg, but
Well, I doubt
hopefully
that.
we'll be ready. Hopefully we'll be ready to go.
They and embrace. It's just Ingalls. I
Yeah.
mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's really not as far.
Yeah.
When you're looking at Chautauqua,
No.
Rolla,
Yeah.
some of those. So
Yeah. Yep.
It's a good deal.
Yep.
Well, we look forward to this week's matchup, big matchup, and the winner of this really gets a leg up on the district race. And as you said, possibly some home field advantage come playoff time.
Yep.
And I've been really, really impressed with your team.
Thanks.
I got to remember they are so young. I mean, you've got two seniors?
Yep.
And so, I mean, they appear to me to be playing well-disciplined football, fundamentally sound football. And I've just been really impressed with how they're getting after people on defense.
Well, hopefully that continues, because if we want to go as far as we want to this year, that defense has got to be there. I think our offense has been pretty good this year, and I think it will be fine. I hope, knock on wood, not jinxing myself again, but the defense is, like they always say, defense wins championships. So this is a championship week. I have to keep telling the guys, championship week, championship style, a game. We need championship practices. So, and I think they've been pretty good this week.
Yep. Good deal.
Yep.
Well, appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to do this, and best of luck with Ingalls.
All right.